Before we begin, a brief note to our listeners. This episode discusses accidental injury and death following head trauma. There is no graphic content, but the subject may be difficult for some listeners. Please listen with care. He had just finished what he loved most, making people laugh. The performance was strong, the crowd warm, the night routine familiar. Later, alone in his hotel room, he likely prepared for bed the way countless travelers do, brushing his teeth, setting alarms, turning down the lights. At some point, he struck his head. No emergency call, no report of distress, no sign that anything was terribly wrong. He lay down and never woke up. When news broke the next day, it seemed almost impossible. He had appeared energetic just hours earlier. Friends described him as vibrant, busy, happy to be back on stage. Initial speculation ranged widely: heart attack, stroke, overdose. But investigators found no evidence of drugs or foul play. Instead, the medical examiner delivered a conclusion both simple and unsettling. He died from a head injury. Not from violence, not from a crash, not from anything dramatic, from a fall. The human brain floats in fluid inside the skull. A sudden impact, even one that seems minor, can cause the brain to move, twist, or collide with bone. Blood vessels can tear. Bleeding may begin slowly. Pressure builds. Symptoms are not always immediate. Headache, dizziness, confusion, nausea, or sometimes nothing obvious at all. A person may appear lucid, may walk, may speak normally, may decide to sleep it off. But sleep in the presence of a serious intracranial bleed can be deadly. The autopsy revealed multiple skull fractures and bleeding around the brain. Experts concluded the injury was severe, comparable to trauma typically seen in high-impact accidents. And yet, there was no sign of assault, no defensive wounds, no evidence of struggle. The most likely explanation: an unwitnessed fall, perhaps in the bathroom, perhaps after losing balance, followed by the tragic assumption that the injury was not serious. He went to bed. As pressure increased inside his skull, brain function gradually shut down. Head injuries are uniquely deceptive. Unlike cuts or broken bones, the damage is hidden. Emergency guidelines are clear. Seek medical evaluation after a significant head impact, especially if there is severe headache, vomiting, confusion, drowsiness, loss of balance, any loss of consciousness, even brief. Because deterioration can occur hours later. What looks like recovery may actually be the calm before a catastrophic decline. The man who made millions laugh, whose voice and presence filled living rooms for decades, delighting us on Friday evenings, looking forward to TGIF, who had just returned to touring with renewed joy, was Bob Saget. He was known for warmth, for kindness behind the scenes, for humor that could be both gentle and daring, for a career that stretched from wholesome television father to fearless stand-up comic. His death was not the result of recklessness. It was the result of something frighteningly ordinary. a fall, an injury that did not announce its danger, a moment that seemed survivable. Sometimes the most dangerous medical events are not the ones that look dramatic, but the ones we believe we can ignore. But what matters most is the space in between, the moment when the story became human again. This has been Behind the Diagnosis, Famous Lives Untold, the life you knew until the diagnosis. Until next week, be well.
Before the silence, before the fall, before the headline learned your name, you filled the room with something rare. A laugh, a light, a spark, a flame. We met you in the stories told, in scenes that felt like home somehow. You gave us pieces of ourselves long before the world asked how. We knew your joy before your pain. Your music, motion, voice, and grace. We remember who you are before the story turned the page, before the moment froze you there inside a single line of news. You were more than what went wrong, more than what the papers say. You were living, breathing brilliance long before that day. You taught us courage dressed as humor, hope that showed up unafraid. You leapt, you danced, you made us feel that joy was worth the chance and taste. Not legends carved in marble stone, but human hearts we came to know. You walked beside us on the screen, in moments we still carry home. Your gift was never just a role. It was the way you made us feel whole. We remember who you were before the story turned the page, before the moment froze you there inside a single line of news. You were more than what went wrong, more than what the papers say. You were living, breathing brilliance long before that day. Somewhere between the joy and ache, between the loss and what remains, we choose to hold the life you live, not just the moment that changed everything. We remember who you were, the laughter, fire, heart, and grace. Not defined by what was taken, but by every light you gave. If the world only recalls the end, we'll remember all the way. The life you lived so generously before that day. This is Behind the Diagnosis. Famous lives untold. Because the story didn't begin with the illness, and it doesn't end there either.